YouTube. We're going to keep the live web stream open, the live webinar open for the remainder of this week. And then after that, the recordings will be uploaded to YouTube. And then we'll just be trading with the guys in the Evolution Traders Room. So definitely, if this is something that you guys want to get involved with on a day in and day out basis, definitely make sure that you guys join that Evolution Traders link down in the description box below. But again, the recordings will be uploaded after the fact. So I'm getting the chart set up right now, currently looking at a few things. I'm looking at Meta, obviously looking at the NASDAQ futures in the top right corner, getting my Tesla chart set up here. So again, we expected, a little bit of a gap up to happen here, especially after those NVIDIA earnings, kind of drug the market up, right? So we're going to need to give the market a little bit of time here to kind of see, exactly, what they are going to do, right? Do the bulls kind of, do they, one second, guys. Do the bulls kind of continue this upward rally here and kind of continue to take out some of these supply zones, or is the market a little bit weaker internally in a sense where they're going to give back these overnight session gains here? So what I'm doing on my charts right now is loading up the hourly time frames. Again, you don't have to come into the market 5 minutes before the market's open. You can definitely be patient, kind of pick your spots, see what the levels are. As of right now, what I would be looking at, if there's a little bit of a washout here off the open, what I'm definitely going to be looking at is going to be for a scalp, right? Again, because the market's gapping up, if there's a pullback, I'm not looking for an extended all-day move on the first trade of the day, but NQ 15322, that's going to be the previous hour's lows, is pretty much going to be taking out a good chunk of consolidation. I kind of drew that dotted red line there on the top left hand screen. Now we can definitely see that we have some rising support here at 15229, which is about 100 points down. Now if I'm looking at the top corner here, looking at Meta, kind of get trapped underneath this supply. Our big breakout spot here on Meta would be confirming last night's earnings run up, and I'd be looking at 302 for a high side break. Now we do have Tesla pulling back on the 1 hour time frame. Looks like Tesla's probably going to be pulling back into 237. So again, are we really gapping up that much? No, we're not. We're only going to probably open about $1 higher. But again, in that particular scenario, I think I wanted to look at Amazon, right? Amazon. In that particular scenario, what we want to see is we do want to see these rising hourly supports hold, right? So what you want to see is, for an example, like on Tesla, what you would want to see is, this rising hourly 20-day moving average to kind of hold, and then you want to see the market kind of reverse. So this is very, very good. Now, one thing that I do want to touch on is that, a lot of traders, especially newer traders or more inexperienced traders, they get very, very caught up with what is the overnight futures session doing? Overnight futures are green, so we have to go higher. Overnight futures are red, so we have to go lower. Personally, guys, that first move, if you gap up, right, like we are going to today, what you want to see is you want to see a red open. You want to see us pull back off the open. And then necessarily don't want to short, but what you want to see is you want to see them catch, right? You want to see these supports hold, and then you want to see us go red to green. And you want to go red to green either A, through the pre-market highs, that's going to be your entry, or the previous day's highs or after hours highs, whichever one's higher. And that's what you're going to want to do. So for example, on something like Amazon, I'd be looking at 137.30s long. That's going to have room into 139.50s. To the short side, it's going to really need to lose 133.22, and then from there it's got room to 131. Something like Tesla's already pulling back, so I'm going to kind of let this digest a little bit. But what I was looking for on Tesla was that 241 long. That's getting back over its 5 and 10 day moving average. That's kind of testing, challenging yesterday's prices, and on the daily chart looks really, really good to have some space. But again, you know, as the market just opened here. So let's see what we do. The 15,322 area on the NASDAQ futures is definitely something that you're going to want to look at here. So if we do start to crack below this 15,323, or excuse me, 15,322, that's a level that can, you know, wash out a little bit, maybe 10, 15, 20 handles if you want to take an aggressive scalp on that breakthrough and try to just lock in those profits as we're breaking now. So this would be the level that, you know, we're looking at here. So the 322 currently should be short if you're looking for a little bit of a scalp play here. Market's pulling back here. We do have Meta pulling back into its, you know, rising 1 hour 200 EMA. But again, you know, a lot of times if you're not an aggressive scalper, don't let these moves right off the bell kind of, you know, make you nervous, right? I want to point out down here, look at how Tesla pulled right into this purple line. This is a 20 SMA here, so pulled right into the purple line and is starting to kind of bounce back up. You do have the NASDAQ futures down around 9-10 points now. The 22 was the entry short. Now it's down to 09, so you're looking at about 10 to 12 points. Take your profits. If you look to take profits on the NQ on normal setups where you're getting 10, 15 handles, then what's the reason why you're not taking some profits now on this NQ futures? We obviously seen, you know, the level. Look at the previous hours low here. Look at all of the overnight session trading action. Once you lose a big area like this, especially coming down through on a 1 hour time frame, the 20 SMA, you've got some room there. So currently down 20 points here. Take your profits on the way down there on that NQ. You know, can the NQ trade down a little lower? Sure, but you're going to come into this little bit of a resistance here, going back to yesterday after the earnings, kind of run up 15,294, right? So look to see what we do at 15,294. Meta on the aggressive pullback here, Tesla as well. So just kind of see, you know, let the market digest. If anything, guys, what you can do is you can wait 30 minutes, right? You can wait 30 minutes off the open. That's going to be, you know, the closure of that first hour candle, okay? From that, what you want to see is what is the lows and what is the highs, right? Is it, you know, the hour candle that's the high price, or is it the pre-market levels that are the high price? From there, you can kind of take those levels and see what confirms at the top of the hour. Those are the trades that we really looked for yesterday, was those particular trades. But again, you know, just see what is happening here. So the 15,322 area, 284, currently down 40 points on the NASDAQ here. Again, if anyone took the scalp through previous hours lows, please take profits on the way down here. Don't want you guys to get trapped in this short position, as the first initial move generally, you know, 8 times out of 10 is not the move of the day. So when we do stop, we're going to look for a little bit of a bounce here. But again, we're going to have some work to do as far as the bulls are concerned. Nice little washout here through the previous hours lows on Tesla. 238 down into 236 was not a bad price. You know, you got a quick little $2 there on those opening moves. So again, I don't know how many of you guys like to really play those, you know, those fast breaks. Again, so this early in the morning, I'm definitely looking for my options trades. A lot of you guys who trade with me know that, you know, that I trade options, you know, the first hour, hour and a half, 2 hours of the market. And then I kind of, you know, just keep my eye on the futures and kind of see what we're doing to digest. You know, typically the first 30 minutes to 45 minutes, I will be very active. If my guys need me in the Discord, kind of punching in levels as I see them. So again, you know, if it gets a little quiet, you know, I'm still here. I'm just either placing trades. I'll let you guys know on those trades that I'm going to go ahead and place, or the levels that I'm at least looking at. Again, you know, everyone's got to do their own due diligence. You have to understand why you're taking a trade. Don't just take the trade just to take the trade. So again, so I'll be looking at Tesla, see what we do here at this 200-day moving average on the 1 hour chart. We're going to have a little bit more support here at 234.60s on Tesla. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if the NASDAQ futures get down to the 215 mark. That 215 mark is going to definitely be a little bit of an area of support. Below 215, we've got support at 193. So see what we kind of do as we approach into this area. But again, for those of you guys who are on the live stream right at the open, the 15,322 area was definitely the short entry here. That's why I drew out this dotted line here. So if anyone took that, currently from 322 down to 260, you guys are up around 40, 50, 60 points. So take your profits. Meta is washing out aggressively. Is there any news on Meta? I understand that the market is pulling back as a whole, but Meta has put up a nice red candle from 299 down to 295, almost a 5-point decline here on Meta. Amazon is kind of holding out here, so I'm definitely going to look for Amazon at the top of the hour over 137.30s if it can hold, right? If we can hold and we don't lose 134 on Amazon, I'd like to get a little bit of a long play set up here over 137 on Amazon. Again, that's what especially what I look for on the option side of things. If the market's pulling back, but we have a particular stock like Amazon that's holding a little bit better than some of the others, that's not to say that it doesn't lose the area, but it definitely be looking at this, it's starting to pull back a little bit more here. So 137.96, 138 is something we would be looking for on Amazon. This is the type of move here, especially if people swung overnight and got very, very excited about the NVIDIA earnings, is where they start to get trapped, right? So one thing to focus on here is as people start getting out of their overnight swing positions, as they're getting trapped on this pullback, that's when you would look for the aggressive kind of bounce. And again, it's another reason why I don't swing overnight, especially, people who are a little bit less experienced when it comes to price action in trading stocks. A lot of times is you'll swing overnight. You'll sell on a washout like this because, you're red, and then come to find out the market, comes back in your favor, right? So I don't really recommend swinging for anyone unless, it's a runner, right? Like let's say for example, you played, 5-10 options contracts. You held a position overnight. You have one contract. You already locked in a good portion of money in the bag, and you're kind of just letting it run. But even in that particular case, what I would do is kind of hedge that position by, let's say, for example, if you were long yesterday, short some Qs, right? So that's what you would want to do. You would want to short the Qs. If you're long tech, you short a little bit of Qs to kind of compensate that hedge. And sometimes you actually make out on both sides because we open up down like this. So you can take a little bit of money on that hedge on the Qs. And then if we do snap back, you make money on your initial long position. So that's a little bit of a trick. A lot of old time traders will do that, kind of hedge their positions and stuff. That's why a lot of times, sometimes when I'm looking around on social media, I'll see a lot of newer traders, or I'll call them social media traders. They'll post up that there's big options flow bets going this way, and and the market's going the other way. A lot of times, guys, those are hedges. Those are just hedges by these big firms and big traders. They got to protect themselves, especially when you have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on the books going one particular way. You've got to hedge your position, right? So that style of trading is a little different than our average retail trader. Markets are still continuing to pull back. They're continuing to pull back very, very aggressively now. Amazon has lost most of its, hour support here. So again, what am I looking for? I'm not in a rush, right? I'm not in a rush right now. Was there some short plays off the open? Sure. We could have taken, Meta through pre-market lows. We could have taken Amazon through pre-market lows, Tesla through pre-market lows, and obviously the NQ, that 15,322 area, could have all been taken short. Again, if you did take anything short, right now is a time, as we come into these bottom supports, is where you want to take your profits. Very, very good move here. If the market does continue, right? If the market wants to go down, you didn't miss the boat on anything. It's going to show you. right? You're going to get that. You're going to get that second opportunity. That second opportunity will come at the top of the hour. So what you're going to want to do now, being that there's 20 minutes left before this first hour candle closes, what you're going to want to do, whether you're using the Evolution Trader system where you've got the big chart on here with all of the moving averages that you guys currently see, or you put on your own supply and demand zones, it really doesn't matter. What you're going to want to do is mark out the lows, right? These opening range lows on the first hour candle. And then if we confirm, we already know that we've lost a lot of levels of support, then we can start to take positions short. So again, there's two styles of trading, and you really have to understand as a trader, you know, what style of trader are you? Right? Are you a scalper? Are you comfortable getting in on something like this through pre-market lows? For example, look at the NQ 15322, spoken about this already. As soon as it breaks this price action, that's confirming the previous hour's lows. Are you confident enough? Are you fast enough to get in on the move, right? Because a lot of times you don't get in on the move and you're looking at this candle now, asking someone or wondering, should I short now? No, it's too late to short now. Your short came at 322. We're trading at 241. We're down 80 points on the NASDAQ from the initial entry. Yeah, I think it's a little too late to short now. You need to wait. And what are you waiting for? You've got to wait for the next hour candle. So what we want to see now is this area that we talked about in the beginning of the live stream, 213 on the NQ, is this area going to hold? If not, we've got support in the 15190s. That's the next area of support. Okay, so at the top of the hour, if we hold this area of support and start to tread backwards, that's where you can start to look for a little bit of a bounce play to the upside. It's the same thing on Amazon. The entry on Amazon short was 136.60. We're currently trading at 135.20, so we're down about $1.20. Profits should have been taken on the way down into these lower supports. Same thing with Tesla, 238.84. First profit taking was 236.90s. Second profit taking was 235.20s, and the next one was 234.40s. Definitely take your profits. Now, if we missed these trades, right? There's no harm, no foul. We now wait. We have to wait. We have to see what this opening hour candle does. Where do we close at as far as, you know, on the support wise, right? Again, there's no reason to be anxious, guys. There's no reason to feel like you've missed a move. The move hasn't even started yet. We haven't even, you know, we're barely 12 minutes into the open. You know, with such the significant kind of move that NVIDIA put in, this is expected. I'm expecting a lot of profit taking here. I'm expecting, you know, the bulls to get tested, right? You know, we're coming off of almost 2.5 week sort of pullback here on the markets. You know, sellers were definitely in control as the triple Qs and the spiders were below their daily 50-day moving averages. So sellers were definitely in control. It was up to the bulls, and it is up to the bulls. You know, what are you going to do with it, right? What are you going to do with the NVIDIA earnings? Are you going to roll over, you know, like a sick puppy and just give it all back? You know, if that's the case, then that's, you know, not really what you want to see if you're a long-sided trader, because there's going to be more short opportunities than there will be long in the coming weeks here. You also have to, you know, consider we're starting, you know, the primary debates that were on last night as well. And, you know, I tuned in for a little bit, didn't really watch too much of it. You know, just kind of read the headlines. But again, you know, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to sway the market. However, okay, and this is a big however, a lot of you guys focus way too much on what's going on outside the candlesticks. You're worried about, you know, Jackson Hole. You're worried about PPI, you're worried about CPI, you're worried about, you know, the elections, you're worried about this, that, and the other, you're worried about all sorts of other stuff that has nothing to do with what's going on your screen. Now, are those kind of events going to move the markets? Absolutely, 100%. However, when you know how to trade and you have a strategy, the candlesticks still have to do something for you in order to get into the trade, okay? So we're not here trying to predetermine what's going to happen You know, we're not trying to, you know, guess as to where the market's going based on what we heard on the news or what article we read. No, no, no. We need serious events to happen on our charts, not outside the charts. The charts are going to tell us what we thought about the you know, the debate last night. Charts are going to tell us what we think about CPI numbers, about job numbers. Charts are going to tell us that. So play the charts. You're going to be much less stressed. You're going to make more money. You're going to be more consistent. There's that first support that I was talking about, the 15,200s area. Again, next support on the NQ is 15,189. So if we do continue to push down, look for another, you know, 15, 20 points down here. However, if you took the short position that we talked about at the beginning of the live stream, please take profits. Please, please, please. You know, you're up over 100 points in a matter of 15 minutes. That's 100 handles in 15 minutes, and it never even looked back, right? So if I was really to, you know, look at a 5-minute time frame here, right? If I was to look at a 5-minute time frame, I want you guys to see the level that we lost, right? Look at the bottom level that we lost here, the 15,322. Look at all of the consolidation here. Look at the wicks, 1, 2, 3 touches. When we finally broke down through, essentially red all the way down into the linear regression, which is the 15,218. That's where you should be taking profits. Okay, so take your profits there. Again, if you didn't take this trade, it's okay. However, I want you guys to be able to identify this as to, was this a good trade to take, right? Was this a good trade to take? Should you have been looking at this trade? You see a big decline in the overnight session, right? Pre-market. Then what do we get, guys? We get a little breakdown. We get a little bit of a retest, rejected at the 50 SMA, and then we get our flush. This is a perfect, you know, a perfect pattern when you look up these generic, you know, chart patterns, right? Like you see these images sometimes on social media. This is a cup and handle. This is, you know, a double bottom, you know, all this weird, you know, stupid generic bullshit. But I mean, doesn't this, you know, if I just draw this line, doesn't this look like a chart pattern that you've seen before, right? Isn't this a little bit of a, you know, what do they call it? A bear flag, right? Like, isn't this a bear flag here? So, right? Isn't this a bear flag? Then you get the breakdown, right? So start identifying this stuff in real time. But again, you know, I don't just like to play, you know, a bear flag, right? I don't just like to play, you know, bear flags. I don't like to play, you know, oh, this is a, you know, a head and shoulders, you know, oh, this is an inverse head and shoulders. I don't like to just, you know, go off of that, right? What I like to do is, do I have a chart pattern, right? Meaning bear flag here, or whatever you want to call it, that's setting up technically, okay? I don't give a shit about the pattern. I give a shit about what area of support are we losing? Are we losing an area of support here, and do I have room? That's all I care about. So notice how you can't see anything that's going on up here, right? And I know I have it kind of zoomed in a little bit, but notice how it's congested, right? That's the word I'm going to use. You notice how this is congested, okay? Notice how this, below this dotted red line, is empty space. Do I want to take a trade in congestion, or do I want open airspace to be able to breathe? I want open airspace. Market's still continuing to pull back here on the NQ, but again, this would be a short-term support area here, so look for this area to kind of hold. Amazon's actually washing out very aggressively, 136.60s all the way down to 134.70s, almost a $2 move on Amazon. I don't think anyone really came into the market expecting it to flush like this. Maybe some of you guys, but the majority of people probably assumed that the NVIDIA earnings were just going to continue to skyrocket everything out of the gates. Again, you know, patience. We have 10 minutes before the new hour candle sets up. That's what I'll be looking for. Let's see what our little earnings darling Tesla is doing, or excuse me, NVIDIA is doing here. So we're coming into support here on NVIDIA. 486, 484, and below 484, you've got some room to 478. So our support here off the 20. So below this 20 period moving average, we have the next support on NVIDIA at 478. If you're short, I have someone short in the Evolution Traders Discord. So give me a second here, guys. I want to give them the right levels here. 478.51. 478.51. So again, guys, if you are short, do we see the reason why one of these Evolution Traders members took the short position on NVIDIA? Look at the loss of 499 here, and then also look at this candlestick here going back to yesterday after hours to 495. So below 495, right? Below 495, we had room to drop down to 484.13. So between 495.50s all the way down here to 484.13, so it's about $1.50. You want to take profits on the first shot down, and then give it a chance to see if we stretch, and we actually stretched to 480. So not a bad trade there. Took a little bit of money on that trade for him, and he's out of the trade. So good. I love hearing that. I love hearing when guys get out of the trades. I love hearing when guys get out of the trades where they're supposed to get out of the trades. That's one thing that I constantly keep stressing, guys. Just trust the charts and understand that these are going to stop the first time at these levels here. This chart is not meant to confuse you. This chart is meant to help you, right? Just like when you were in kindergarten, you remember how you would have to get the coloring book, and the teacher would say, color between the lines, right? And then as you're barely starting to learn how to color, you're fucking painting everything outside the lines, right? Things are coming off the page on the table and everything else. That's exactly what it is to be a new trader or an inexperienced trader. You're all over the place. You don't know where to take profits. You don't know where to take entries. You don't know, where you should potentially look for a stop loss. This chart's meant to help you. It's meant to help you, right? So again, to the people who are just tuning in on YouTube, again, if this is the first time watching my channel, my name is D. Anthony with evolutiontraders.com. Recently with the community have started doing the live screen share webinars in the morning here. Again, just kind of testing it out for this week on YouTube. However, the recordings will be uploaded to YouTube after I am done. And then these live kind of technical analysis recaps are just going to be for the guys in the room over there. So, I really want to focus on the traders who actually trade, the traders who are actually trading with me and actually, wanting to learn, and who have been coaching for a little bit here. But if you're interested in joining, that link is down below. So we're looking at the NASDAQ futures here. As the NASDAQ futures, a little bit of a reversal candlestick here. So what I'm looking for here at the top of the hour is to see if we can kind of confirm. If the NASDAQ futures get over 15,223, there might be a little bit of a long position set up there. You would use the low wick 186 as your hard stop. So size yourself appropriately, because this is going to be, a 30, 35 point kind of max pain stop to entry, right? Over 15,222. So again, if you play micros, maybe one, 2 micros, right? Just play around with it a little bit. That way you can see, does it move? Where do I have potential to? You got potential to the 40s and you got potential to the 50s. But again, what we want to see is a little bit of a break candle, which is going to be this green candle that's setting up here. And then what we want to see from there is we want to see a green candle get through this 5-day moving average on a 5-minute time frame. And then that'll give us a little bit of confidence that we've got some space. So look for the break back over the 15,222, 225 area. Again, if you're looking for the longs, what you want to do is you want to take these reclaims. So for example, on NVIDIA, the reclaim of the 20-day moving average back over 484 or 485. That's the long position. Your short position is the 477. That's your max pain, right? So as we, reclaim this area, if we can reclaim it and the market continues to bounce, this is a good bounce opportunity here, because it is a little bit of a break and retest on the overall earnings move. What do I mean by that? Yesterday in the after hours on earnings, we broke out, we consolidated. Now we've pulled back to the original breakout spot. So if the market's going to be strong and we're going to continue to push higher, the 477, 478 should act as support for a move back up to the upside. Okay. Now, if it doesn't, your next support is not until 471. So if you do try to take the bounce somewhere around here on the 477 area and we start to break through that area, you're going to need to get out of the trade, because no one's going to sit in a trade that has potential to go against them $7. But we've got support 47786. Look for a bounce opportunity off of that, reclaiming the 20 period moving average at 484, and then we've got a lot of upside. Again, your stop loss would be back down below 477. So let's kind of see what the market does here at the top of the hour. There's no rush right now. Just, sit on your hands and kind of be patient. Apple's also in a bounce spot as well. Now, I might look for a little bit of a bounce opportunity here, maybe on something with a little bit less risk than NVIDIA, maybe something like Apple, right? Look at the breakout on Apple yesterday, the breakout, the consolidation, the new high, and now we've pulled right back. So this is a break and retest, right? Look at the break, look at the retest. If we're going to hold, what's going to happen next? That move, right? Again, your stop loss would be under here. So we can try to play around with this a little bit. 179.25, I believe, on Apple would be the hard stop. I might take a little bit of size here. So 179.20s. Today's Thursday. Let's see what these contracts are going to charge me here. Again, a little bit more advanced of a trade here, just due to the fact that you have to manage it a little bit more closely. But again, with options contracts, around $250, $270, it's not that much risk. The 180s are trading at around $100. So if we look at the 180 strikes and you were to say, let's take 10 of them, we would be looking at, premium of around $1,200, $1,126, right? So in this particular situation, that would be, my my premium. Now, again, I'm not going to risk that, but I'm going to take a little bit of a flyer here on these apples to see if we can bounce. Again, doesn't necessarily mean that everyone needs to take the trade, but you have a clear stop loss. Again, 2 minutes left until this hour candle kind of forms. So if you want to wait for the hour candle to see, do we get into 179.25 as our area of support, you can definitely do that. And like I said, I'm looking at the 180 strikes for a potential bounce. Again, my stop loss is underneath that 179. So we'll go ahead and we'll let that kind of sit. Here's that futures, that NASDAQ futures over the 15,220 area, guys. Remember, over that 5-day moving average that I was mentioning. So if this candle spikes, you have potential to get back into the 50s and potentially back into the 60s. Again, your hard max pain stop, if the market's going to continue to flush, is going to be through 185. So you'd have to get out of your trade there. Definitely wouldn't want anyone trying to sit on a bounce long when we're putting in a new low. You would need to see this hold. Okay, that's absolute. If you want to kind of, tighten down your stop a little bit, you can definitely look at like a 2-minute chart, right, on the futures. But again, On the 2-minute chart, you would be looking for something over 32, and you would be looking to take profits into 40s, into 50s. Okay, your stop loss is going to be around here. Then it's still the 9.5, so even the 9.5s, 8.6s. But again, here's the push higher. You'd be looking to take profits from the 30s into the 40s, into the 50s, and that's the profit that you want to take. But again, just as stated before, on the 2-minute chart, what does this look like? Another bear flag, right? So if we do break down again, look for the new low later. Again, this is a 2-minute chart here. And the new hour candle is going to form here. So I'm going to go back to the hourly chart to kind of see where we sit on the futures. So the NASDAQ futures, again, putting that low here to the 50 EMA, that 15,185 area is definitely the next short position. So if we are going to confirm back to the downside, again, you would be looking for 15,184, taking profits into the 60s, okay? Taking profits into the 60s. That's going to be your next area of support. On Tesla, what we would be looking for here, I might be interested in a short position on Tesla. If Tesla starts breaking down through 231.30s, that's also taking out the previous hour's highs of 232.24. NVIDIA reclaiming its 20-day moving average. NASDAQ futures still kind of holding this lower Bollinger Band here. Yeah, see, so if I'm looking at the Tesla daily chart, as good as a run that we've had in the after hours, as good as a run, a little bit of a 3-4 day dead cat bounce that we had here. If Tesla starts to lose at some point this week or next week, if it loses 229, guys, that's going to be your next big short opportunity on Tesla below 229 into 223. So what we want to see here is what you would want to see if you're a bull or looking to play to the long side. You want to see this 10 and 5-day moving average between 229 and 231 hold today. This cannot get broken. We cannot close below 229 today. If we do, this is 100% a short position going into tomorrow or whenever we do close below 229. That will be a short position that you need to be absolutely licking your chops at, is definitely that. So NVIDIA trading at 486 now, trying to reclaim that 20-day moving average. So I will be looking at this, and I'm definitely going to put this into Discord for the guys here, just to kind of be cautious of here, and just kind of have on their watch list, right? Good little aggressive bounce here on good little aggressive bounce here on the Nvidia, right? So what did we talk about on that Nvidia, right? So if we go back to the 5-minute time frame here, and we kind of look at a 5-minute time frame, look at how we started to base out here. We put in these two low wicks here, 480, right? And now we're bouncing right into 489. Again, from that hourly chart view, we lost a 20 SMA, came just shy of this linear regression. So what we were looking at was the 478 area to hold and then get the bounce, and your bounce would have been on the reclaim of this 20 period moving average here at around 484, 485, and currently trading at 488. So again, if you took that bounce reclaim, take some profits. Same thing we're looking at here with the NQ futures. You know, that first level was broken, the 15,322. We came right down to the lower Bollinger Band as well as the 50 EMA. Okay, you see how we're holding here, and this would be your next short position if we start to lose 15,184. But again, if we don't and we continue to bounce here, you know, see if that continues to hold. Beautiful bounce on Nvidia. Beautiful bounce on Nvidia. Your hourly supply is 497, right? Understand, doesn't have to come up to 497. I'm just saying you have room here, okay? Futures are going to pull back here a little bit. Again, you need this 50 EMA to hold. If not, you got a short position below 15,184. 15,184, you want to be taking profits into the 60s, guys. Into the 60s. Apple position coming down here into this hard support at the 200 EMA. So again, you know, if Apple starts to give up the 179.25, that's an out, right? You have to get out of the potential bounce below 179.25, 179 if you want to give it another 25 cents, because below that you've got room down to 178.80s. That's what you would be looking for. What's AMD doing, guys? Anyone got eyes on AMD? AMD through 105.72 has room down to 104.70s. Might be $1 here into yesterday's lows on AMD below 105.72, guys. If the market continues to wash, there's that confirmation. Looking to confirm on the futures here below previous hour's lows. There's the break. I'm going to be watching this AMD 105.72. $105.72. Guys, take your profits into the 60s. Remember that the short position was there through the 80s into the 60s. Take your profits on the NQ, guys. Coming into a little bit of support here. There's the breakdown on the AMD here on that NASDAQ futures pool. So there's the first touch of support there. Here's the breakdown on AMD 105.72. Anyone see how that worked there, guys? Does anyone see how that worked here? The short position, right? So the bounce failed, right? There was no bounce, there was no follow through unless you took the reclaim of the 50 EMA. But the short position through the 184s on the NASDAQ futures down into what, guys? The 60s. The 60s. We're talking about a 20-point move there. 20-point move. Take your profits. If you snagged 15, 20 points, take your points on the NQ there. Again, if you guys are also going to scalp, you're going to day trade, this is how fast the moves go, guys. If you're not ready for them, Okay, if you're not ready for these moves, you got to get comfortable, right? You got to get comfortable trusting the technical analysis. That's one thing with me. I'm just going to trust the technical analysis here. I'm not going to second guess it. Well, what if? There is no what if. You know, you break a level of demand, you're going to the next level of demand. If you don't get there, you're going to get stopped out. There's nothing else that's going to happen. Okay. There's no outside variable. Either the trade's going to work and go from demand to demand or supply to supply, or you're going to get stopped out. So stop being scared to take these trades. The mark was here. I don't know how many times I said it, right? I don't know how many times I said it. The 184 is potential short there. If we lose it, you know, we're going to have profit. We're going to have potential into the 60s. We're currently trading in the 50s, guys. So it's a 30-point move. 30-point move. There's the breakdown now even further, guys, through the 50 SMA. Beautiful trade if you guys are trading on the future side of things and you guys took the NQ here through the previous hour's lows of the 184s. 184s, as mentioned, had potential to the 60s, currently trading down in the 40s now, guys. Down in the 40s. Looking at Tesla also here as well. If Tesla starts to break down previous days lows here below 229, this thing can absolutely wash. It can absolutely wash below that. Again, trying to stress it again, if you did get in short to the NQ, your first profit taking was in the 60s. Again, it overshot that into the 40s. I hope you guys are taking some hope you guys took some scratch off that. Tesla through previous hours lows there, 231 down to 230 and some change. Tesla right now has room down to 228, 229. Tesla through the previous hours lows. 229 would be the next stop. Again, as long as it stays under 231. Did anyone take that NQ short, guys? Anyone take the NQ short? Be careful here because it did come into that 50 SMA on the 1 hour chart. It overshot it. Okay, it overshot it. But again, if it does, if the bulls want to step in here, this is a great spot for the bulls. So again, you know, make sure that if you did take the short through the 80s, that you definitely took profits at the 60s, and you're down to just a runner. Next potential would be the 18s, 118, 15, 118 on the NQ. Looking for 229 on Tesla. Looking for AMD to see if it can continue to get down through, you know, 105. I'd be looking at 104, yesterday's lows. 105 even, yesterday's lows on AMD. A little bit of support here that we've got on the futures. So if you're playing on the stocks side of things, you're playing some of these tech stocks, and you're getting a little bit of a stalling out process or a little bit of a bounce here. It's because the futures are sitting at a level of support. So they're trying to figure out what's going on here. Next support on the futures is 15,118. Again, we just lost the last support in the 50s at the 50 SMA. Pushing its way down here. Next target here on the NQ is 118. There goes that AMD. There goes that AMD starting to work through the 105.72. So again, if we were playing anything short off the open, you know, the moves were there. We should be for sure profitable, taking profits and or right holding a runner. Like, for example, if you're playing the futures, you should not be looking to short futures here. Okay, your opportunity came, as mentioned at the start of this stream, 15,322. Okay, that was the spot. The next spot was 1580s, 15,180s. That was your next spot. Okay, so now we're coming down into the lower level of this support. This is all just profit taking now. This is all just riding a runner at this point in time. This has nothing to do with you know, looking to start a position here. If you're looking to start a position here, we've got problems, right? On the futures, that is. You know, here's that AMD, guys, the 105.70s. Currently trading at 105.20, so down about 50 cents from entry here. Take profits into 105 and hold the runner. See if we can kind of tag this 104.50s. Going to hit support here, guys. Take profits on the NQ. If NVIDIA is going to give up more earnings, it's got to lose 478.50s. 478.50s has room to 472. So if you're looking to play the big earnings dog over here, 478.50s is the level that you're going to be waiting for. Okay, you got to wait for that level to get confirmed. 470, around 478.05, somewhere in that area. What did I say? 15,118 on the NAS, currently trading at 120. Guys, you can't even make this shit up. You can't even make it up. Technical analysis over everything, man. It's really, it'll really change your life once you start to see how powerful this is. Once you start to see how powerful this is, you know, that stocks are going to move from supply to supply, demand to demand. You can really, you know, you can really do really well for yourselves if you just allow yourselves to trust the charts here. I'm looking at Tesla to come down into 229 on Tesla is what I would be looking for here. Again, I would be taking profits on the NQ and then kind of sitting to see what we do here off the NQ. The NASDAQ, the AMD, the short, guys, 105.72 is currently trading at 104.90s. This is almost $1 move on a baby stock. We got to be thinking about taking profits here on the baby stock, right? You know, $100 stock, we're up almost 80 cents to $1. We've got to be thinking about taking profits. Does anyone see why we went short here on AMD? Does anyone see this? Right, 105.70s below this first hour lows here. Does anyone see that? We've lost all these levels of support. We've lost the bottom channel here. If we can confirm, right, which we did, 105.70s, Look at the space that we have here into 104.50s, right? We came down, the low price that we touched was 104.90s. And you got to be thinking about taking profits, 80 cents, a dollar up. You know, same thing for things like Apple. If you get 75 cents, a dollar, you've got to take it. That's a home run trade on these $100 stocks. See the aggressive bounce that we just had off that 15.118, guys? Look at the dotted line here. See the aggressive bounce that we just had here? It's a level of support here off this bottom channel. Do not get trapped if you are sitting short on the futures. Do not get trapped. Guys, we're down 100 points. You should have taken profits. Let's look at the ES really quickly. I know I didn't have the ES up early this morning, but so the ES, the play on ES was the opening candle, right, through the overnight session lows, the previous hour candle. 44.61 was the short. It also gave you a 20 play on the hour chart. 44.61 short dropped all the way down to 44.45. That's a 15-point move on the spiders, guys. If you did play the spiders through the pre-market lows, take your profits as you're coming into support here at the 50 EMA. Looking to see what the bulls want to do here at this bottom channel here. You know, this could be a potential bounce spot here. Look at the 5-minute time frame. If you look at the 5-minute time frame, you've got a little bit of room here on the 5-minute to around 15.105. But again, this could be a great spot to start looking for a reversal here in the overall markets. ES has a little bit of support here at the 50 EMA on a 1-hour time frame. Next support on the ES is 44.41. So again, if you're looking to start a short position on the ES, it's too late, guys. That short pivot was 44.61, and your hard stop would have been over 44.70. That's a hard stop. 44.69. So maybe about, you know, 5 points or so there. Looking, if the futures get into this 15.102 and you're short stock, take profits. If you're short stock, so if you're playing something short and you're holding a runner, if we get down, if the futures do get down into 15.105, 15.102, take profits. AMD 105.72 was the entry. 104.80s were up about 90 cents on the trade there. Tesla looks like it's trying to base out here and create a little bit of support on a 5-minute time frame. Again, you know, that maximum potential would be 229, 228 and a half on Tesla if it does continue to put in one more push down here. Yeah, who's short? Is anyone short? Did anyone play Nasdaq? Is anyone short the Nasdaq right now? Is anyone short Nasdaq? Is anyone short ES? Is anyone short any stock? Or what are we doing? Are we just watching here, or what are we doing here? There's that profit potential on AMD, guys. There's that profit potential on AMD. We talked about the Bollinger Band earlier. 105.70s into the 104s, right? 104.50s currently trading at. And that's the beauty with technical analysis, guys. You're going to get setups each and every single day, right? Not every day they're going to move like crazy dollar like after dollar after dollar after dollar, but you're going to get these moves every single day. If it's not NQ, it's ES. If it's not AMD, it's Tesla. If it's not Tesla, it's Apple. Something is always moving, right? Something is always moving. AMD currently trading at 104.30s, 104.20s, guys. I locked in half size here on AMD just due to the fact that we're at the Bollinger Band, so I'm taking half profits there. The same thing with my Tesla as well, guys. I didn't catch Tesla off the first wave here, right? Let me show you guys the first wave. So the first wave was here below 238 on the opening candle through the pre-market lows, losing this 20 period moving average. I kind of waited here to lose this bottom channel. If I can zoom this in for you guys. So what I waited for here was this opening candle range, right? I didn't catch it off that opening candle range, taking out the pre-market lows. I kind of waited for this bottom channel to break here at 231 and a half. 231 and a half, by the time I got in with slippage, fill time, my fat fingers pushing the buttons here, it's probably closer to 230, 231.20s, 231.30s, but currently trading down into 229. That was the potential, right, guys? The potential was what? 229. I mentioned this on the live stream, guys. If we lose this area, right, we can start to confirm the opening range highs. We had room down to 229. Also, the reason why I was looking at the 229 area as a potential take profit was this is the 5-day moving average. It's yesterday's lows. So what else did I mention here on Tesla? If we close below 229 today, it's in a world of pain for fucking Tesla. Tesla's got room down to 229 after that, okay? Or excuse me, 222 after that. So look at yesterday's lows here. Even if they hold Tesla today, and I don't even care if they bounce it up $5 today, the move tomorrow that we would be looking for on Tesla is 229. 229 short on Tesla. I'm going to lock in the rest of these gains here. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. I got to handle business first, Look at the beautiful flush on AMD. Again, for some of you smaller players who maybe don't have a large account, maybe you can't necessarily buy multiple contracts of NVIDIA. Play AMD, guys. I mean, if you get 80 cents, 60 cents, $1, this is a great move here, right? 105.70s. I keep preaching it. 105.70s. That was a breakdown spot. We're currently trading at 103.95. Again, guys, I got to run a quick errand. That's probably going to take me about 20 minutes. Look at AMD continue to go 103.80s, 9s. I'm currently holding a couple of runners here. I'm just trying to manage this position accordingly here. I want to squeeze out, right? I'm trying to squeeze the last bit of water out of this rock here on my last 2 contracts, right? It's only 2 contracts left remaining, but I want to squeeze a little bit more out of this thing. As long as it's continuing to go for us, we can continue to squeeze. Again, I'm going to sell one contract here. I'm going to sell one contract here. Currently at 564. 564. I'm watching this Tesla as well. The 229 is going to be a big spot here. If Tesla really starts to give up 229, guys, it's got a lot. It's got some room down to really put up another dollar on this move. Again, did anyone see why we were taking Tesla short? Like, why would we take Tesla short? Two opportunities here on the opening range candle, the opening hour candle through pre-market lows. Boom. Okay. If we miss that, look at the bottom channel here. This declining bottom channel here was sitting at 231.70s, 231.50s. Okay, let me sell the rest of this Tesla before we spike back up. 1 second, guys. 1 second, guys. I'm all out of Tesla, guys. Because the potential was here. Potential was here on 228.20s. I was looking at the 229s. As soon as we broke the 229s was definitely a spot where I wanted to take profits. And I'm going to get out of my AMDs as well. AMD does have room to 102.30s, guys, but you know, I'm beggars can't be choosers. We got to just, when you got money, you gotta take it. When you got money, you gotta take it. And I'm all out. 564 take on the AMD breakdown through the 105.70s. And here's a little bit of a stall, right? Here's a little bit of a stall here. So does anyone see that, right? Did we see the original 15,322 on the NAS? Did we see the second entry, you know, that was around 15,184s into the 118s? I mean, you know, the 184s had room to the 60s, right? Ended up giving us moves to the 50s, and then it continued to wash. And then that absolute bottom, you know, support that I had on the hourly chart was 118, and currently, you know, even went down lower than that. But all right, guys, I will be back in 20 minutes. To those of you guys in Evolution Discord, I'm going to post another link when I get back on live. To those of you guys on YouTube, you guys will probably see the recording afterwards. Again, if you guys want to get this live each and every single day, join Evolution Traders. All that information is down in the description box below. But again, I got to run a quick errand here. I'll probably be about 30 minutes, and then I'll be back, and then we'll kind of see where we stand from there. But again, if you guys shorted off the open, congratulations. If you guys made some good money off the open, congratulations. Make sure to, you know, if you profited enough, make sure to think about wrapping it up for the day. But I'll be back in just a minute, guys. I got to run an errand real quick.